Welcome to Hadoop Exam Learning Resources. In this session, we'll be covering Amazon Web Service, and it's a very introductory part. We already had one sessions on Amazon Web Service. Now it will be having some scenarios in the sessions, and we'll be discussing some components of the Amazon Web Service and various concepts which would be very helpful for your Amazon Web Service certifications. So if you are preparing for certification exam, please remember the important points while we discuss during this training session, so that would be good for you in the exam. Okay, so let's start. There are various topics we'll be covering in this. These are the topics we'll be covering it. So let's directly start with the topics without wasting the time. Okay, what is Amazon Web Service? So we have already discussed little bit about on this, but I'm just repeating it. It's like it's not part of the certification, but we need to understand what exactly it means. And if you need know this, then you can just skip video like 2-3 minutes. That's fine. Okay. So Amazon provides solutions for computing resources, storage, infrastructures, and networking. These are three very important things whenever you are working with any software development kind of thing. So these are very important. So computing resources, you can assume is CPU, memory, etc. you need while doing the some computations on the work you are doing. Storing infrastructure, like various files are being created like while working on the, so these files and on the files you'll be working like images, etc. Some documentation, PDF document, images, any other CSV file, data files, or etc. or direct database solutions like RDBMS solution using Oracle, MySQL, DynamoDB, etc. So these are the storage infrastructure provided by the Amazon. So, and the next is the networking. Without networking, your work cannot be used by the like it's a single desktop work. So there's no point if you don't have a networking infrastructure in place. Then you cannot use your developed work, whatever you have done. Will not be used. So this is the three very component very well needed when you are working with the in the software industry. So these are the three very important things will be provided by the Amazon. So you will get the computing resources in the form of the EC2 instances, Elastic Cloud version 2 instances, and then storing infrastructure using S3 storage, then database storage like MySQL, Elastic Block Storage, etc. RDS will be. So these are the various terms will be this I'm taking right now. So but right now don't worry if you don't understand these terms. And using the networking infrastructure, you will create the virtual private cloud VPC, and the subnet will be covering, and this like as part of the AWS. So these three things would be created. So as I mentioned, these are the two things would be covered, created as part of the networking. So what I can do with this, you can deploy your own websites. Suppose let's assume it hadoopexam.com is the website which needs to be hosted somewhere, and we are not going to use any other hosting provider, because we need our own custom solutions for this. So what we will do, we are going to use the Amazon Web Service to host my website. So to host my website, basically what I need are web pages and the databases, correct? So both the things are provided. So let me draw the diagram here. If I would say if I need to create a website, correct, in the Amazon wherever, it's not about Amazon infrastructure. So this is my web service, if correct, hadoopexam.com, and this is the HTML page. You just see these are the HTML page which would be published. Now behind the scene, there's the data which is coming on this web page is the dynamic data, correct, dynamic data, and which is this dynamic data is stored in the RDBMS, correct. So this is RDBMS from where this data is coming. There are some static content as well, like JPG file or PNG file. I would say these are the logos or whatever used on the website needs to be stored somewhere in the file system or some storage area, correct. So this is my website I need to host. So Amazon provides solution for this as well as for this. And the web servers you can create on their EC2 instances. EC2 instances, these are the virtual servers. So you can host your website here in the virtual servers in Amazon, and you can use their RDS instances, or this is S3 storage for the storage purpose, and this kind of thing. And networking, obviously you need to connect with this website through this RDBMS, so this has to be part of the networking infrastructure. So let's assume this is in another subnet, and this is in another subnet. If you don't understand subnet, don't worry, this is uh, uh, like in so like some part of your entire network, okay, sub part. So, and this is an complete you can say VPC you would be creating. So this is your VPC, virtual private cloud, and this is a subnet 1, just give the name, and this is subnet 2. So this two subnet is part of this VPC, and from the internet you can connect, like this is the internet infrastructure. So this is globally available, and from there you can access this website. So this way, so Amazon provides for all this. EC2 instances provided, RDS provided, and for storage. So these are the computing resources, you can say, like how much memory I need it, like CPU, how many CPU, how much memory I need, correct. If you go to the hosting provider, they might charge you based on this, correct. And similarly in the Amazon also, you can create your instances for how much CPU you need it, how much memory you need it, and based on that the Amazon will also charge for you. Similarly, how much data storage you need it for the MySQL. Generally 1 GB database is available, most of the hosting provider give you. But if sometimes you are hosting, like you are hosting big websites and you need 100 GB of kind of database, so the Amazon will give you like this kind of infrastructure, like without changing anything you can easily get this extra storage. At this they will charge for this, definitely there would be extra charge for this, but in hosting provider generally they limit it and by 1 GB, and once you have to increase from 1 GB to some more volume, they will charge hugely on this. Yeah, so that is the difference between Amazon website hosting and if you do your own hosting. And this is S3, again this would be charged based on the how much storage. Like this kind of solutions is like S3 is like if you have been using Google Drive, correct, to store your file, or Dropbox, etc. So you assume this is like similar thing. It's more advanced, like this is more user friendly, but S3 is also for storage. You can store your file and you can access your file. Okay, so we'll discuss more about this. Let's move. So you can deploy your own website. So we can see here how we can deploy our own website. You can deploy your enterprise application, like you have created Java J2 based application, you can also deploy this kind of. So as such I would say there is no limitations like which kind of application I can deploy or which cannot deploy. Most of the application software development work you do, most of the things can be deployed on Amazon Web Service. So don't worry about your scenario. Once you understand everything, you will definitely able to deploy on Amazon Web Service. Web services are like, why it is known as web service? Because their services are controlled by the web interface. I would say like this is the area of Amazon Web Service. Okay, so all those instances are here, and you sitting here in your office or your home, you are controlling this entire infrastructure of AWS. Like you have created 1,000 node of clusters and you are deploying your application on the 1,000 nodes kind of thing, and you just sitting at your home using one web interface. You can control this entire infrastructure. So this is like there are multiple ways to create this infrastructure. So administrator will control here, a developer will like create the application and it can deploy just sitting at home on this Amazon cloud infrastructure, and solution architect can monitor entire apps infrastructure sitting at home. So this kind of services, like you have 1,000 machines running for your work, virtual machines running for your work, and somewhere globally on the multiple data centers kind of thing, and you are sitting at home and you are maintaining. So that is the web service. And this is the also known as cloud computing, you can say. So that is what it's cloud computing basically. It's like the things would be done somewhere, it's running and you're controlling sitting here. And whatever the cloud computing is vast definition. I'll just give you the very basic thing. Actually it's not just that. Cloud computing has many more things, so which is like Amazon Web Services is one cloud computing solution which provide many things. So we'll be, as we move ahead, we will discuss about each and every features. Okay, so Amazon console, you will be using AWS console to control the all the resources on the website. So once we do the hands-on, like then I'll show you what is the AWS console. Okay, so we're using the AWS console, we will create the like EC2 instances. These are the virtual servers we create. So suppose, assume it, you okay, so let me see, suppose I need to deploy a one web application, correct? So this is server, correct? I need to deploy one application, some web application. Okay, one web application I need to deploy. So what I'll do here, I will first create a Apache's web server inside this service, or I could have created Apache Tomcat server. So these are the web server which can host your web applications. So once this server is created, so you need one server. This is like one computer, assume it, you deploy your server on this computer, and in the server you are deploying your application. Right? So here EC2 instance represent this part. This is virtual server EC2 instance. So each instance means equivalent, you can understand, is one computer, one node. It's generally known as node, but you can assume this is one computer instance is created for you. So you create one computer instance for you, and inside this computer instance you would have your web server created, and inside web server you could host your applications. So like hadoopexam.com website, I would say, is hosted in this server. Similarly, another application like quicktechie.com is also can also be hosted in this server, in this same server. Okay, so this is one EC2 instance. In that I have hosted two applications. Okay, I can host multiple applications in the same instances, like trainingforexam.com. So all three websites are hosted on the single virtual machine, I can say. Okay, or I could have created three different machines and like three different EC2 instances. These three different EC2 instances, one for hadoopexam.com, one for quicktechie.com, and one for trainingforexam.com. So three different sites I could have, and I can host on the three different EC2 instances. So it's all so now if you have multiple application in one EC2 instances, then EC2 instances would be under heavy load, like because of multiple users. So generally you have heard like when you host on the some hosting provided like GoDaddy or .com something, so they are providing shared hosting, and that would be generally cheaper. So that is what it means, like shared hosting means on the your single virtual machine multiple websites are hosted, and all are sharing this one instance for your all the websites. So assume it's hundreds of websites are hosted on this server, correct? So now assume it, all this one of the website is much more popular compared to your website, and all the hits are coming for this websites. Okay, so what happens, like its entire server become little slower, and because of the single website other website is also impacted. So that is what is known as shared hosting. So EC2 instances represent one, your assume it is the equivalent to computer which has fixed amount. You can have RAM and assign RAM and the CPU for this. Generally they are charged based on this. Okay. Okay, now let's move to the next topic here, storage service. So storage services like Google Drive and Dropbox, so you are uploading your file and you are storing. Similarly, Amazon is also provide and known as S3 will go in depth because this is very important for the understand the Amazon Web Service. Okay, and this is very core component of the Amazon Web Service, which is mostly used by various when big player. This is also storage, so it's just a storage of your files, you assume it. So where do you so this is the computer, but there's a S3 is a separate service. Okay, so you can store your files in the uh, sorry, just a minute. Okay. Okay, so now let's move to the this slide again. So this is storage service. We will go in depth as we move ahead. Okay, so no worry right now. So it's just storage. You need to store your files. Okay, you can migrate your existing in-house services on AWS. Suppose you are already hosting your some website on godaddy.com or somewhere you are having your own web servers and kind of thing, so you want to migrate to the existing application to the AWS. So it would be very easy to migrate based on your complex, how complex your application generally. So you would definitely plan before migrating everything. So but it is like using the like various tools and configurations, and it could save lot of time and management of your applications. You can go and get auto monitoring, all the things like already available, because Amazon Web Service is used by the very big player in the market, and various companies are using Amazon Web Service. So all the required services already available in Amazon Web Service, and you can use those services for, and they will charge based on your uses. And I would say like this is charges are very not very high charges. Amazon, it's like reasonable charges there, so you can calculate how much is being cost overall based on the various resources you use it. So many places you will find the example how to calculate the pricing and all this thing. Okay, so it's in rent. Practically you are actually paying rent for the services which you are using, and no need to buy completely. So you are not going to buy any server here, correct? You are just going to you are just having one EC2 instance created, and you are paying the rent. As soon suppose here three websites you have hosted, now after some time you say like I don't want this website to be hosted and anymore, and this website is no more useful for me, so I just want to go out with this. So as soon as you go out for this website and you delete the EC2 instances, charges for this EC2 instances will not be charged to you. So it's just a rent you are paying. This resources you are using, you will be paying the rent for this. So as much as you use, you will be charged. Data centers, okay, you can choose data centers as well. Like there are various data centers like Amazon has. So in the like United States, South America, Europe, Asia, etc. So various places, like generally people choose more than one data center for the disaster recovery. So like you can create United States and Europe, both you can consider for the disaster recovery. So they will be like your servers would be like one of the data centers goes down, something happens critically wrong, like earthquake or tsunami or something happen, entire data centers goes down, still your application would be active because Europe, the application deployed on the Europe side still available. So like this is what disaster recovery means. Like one of the data center goes down, you still your application is available. However, you can will see like there are various ways to do more disaster recovery. It's not only data center level, you can have a other more level of I will go in detail about this. So let's assume it like you would have more things like more than one instances or not instances place at the different places you will be deploying application, and both are connected applications. So if one goes down, other would be still available, and your client would be still able to access your services. Okay, so let me give you the example. This is the data center in US and this is the data center in Europe. Okay, and our one of the EC2 instance we have created here inside this, and another EC2 instance we have created here. So this is in United States, this is in Europe, correct? Now my hadoopexam.com I have hosted on this as well, on the both the server. Okay, and there is a like something and the user from various places from the globally are trying to connect my websites. Okay, and so somebody goes connect can be connected here, one of them can be connected here, but what happens, this entire data center goes down, something wrong happen. So this user will automatically redirect it to this so this data centers. How it is being done we will discuss. So this network will not be available and this will be working. So this user is not aware like this, there is something wrong happen on this data center. They are not worried about. My hadoopexam.com website still is available on this server. So even this my website hosted here, but data center goes down, still it is available. So that is the beauty of the what I would say disaster recovery managed by AWS. However, most of the cloud provider provide this kind of service. This is very mandatory, otherwise you are not going to use cloud services. So that is one of the reason people use the cloud services. Okay, start your server in a Japan or Ireland kind of thing. Similar example, you can choose which way do you want to be. So let's assume you have a one in-house application. So that in-house application we will again say hadoopexam.com is the website. Okay, which is like this is the I have deployed one web server. So I have my own server in my data centers at like in my office. Let's assume it in our office we have our own one server rack, and inside the server rack we have created Apache web server, okay, instance, and in the web server we have deployed our website known as hadoopexam.com, and there is the one database behind hadoopexam.com, because this database needs to be accessed by I would say like to get the dynamic data for this website, like user informations, pricing detail of this products, etc. So all is stored in the MySQL database. So what happens, like this you are as an end user, just you type hadoopexam.com in your browser using the internet, it will go here and it find the DNS detail, whatever is which location I need to ping, etc. So it will come to this your office server kind of thing, and your office server hadoopexam.com is hosted on this Apache web servers, and it would be returned to this end user. And similarly, if any dynamic data needs to be done, so the gate needs to be good, would be taken from this MySQL DB. So entire infrastructure is managed by infrastructure administrator team. So you have to have your very expert infrastructure team and administration team as well as the developer, etc. So correct, and this entire infrastructure is owned by you. Okay. Suppose something goes wrong, power supply goes or something happens with your organization, so what happens, to all the services which are running in this your offices will goes down because power is not available, and in this case this user cannot access your hadoopexam.com website. So this is not a good architecture. If you are going for solution architect, so you can assume it, this is not a very good architecture. So you need a good architecture. So using the Amazon Web Services you can create a better architecture with it. So similar infrastructure can be created using AWS even without managing so many resources services. I mean, say like here MySQL you are managing it, Apache web server and the servers on which it is installed is you are managing, and all the networking related things on your companies needs to be managed by you. So all the things you are managing it. You can leverage other services provided by Amazon. So what I mean here is like this is not a good architecture. Why not to you should consider, if you have this kind of architecture, you should definitely consider Amazon Web Service. Not even Amazon Web Service, even I suggest any web service you can pick it up, like Google Cloud Service, you can use it, or you can use Azure Cloud Service, whatever you are comfortable. So here we are learning Amazon Web Service, so we say like you should use the Amazon Web Service. Okay, so for this yeah, and because this is not a good solution now, and your website also have some static content, some dynamic content. So static contents are logos and images which are regularly needed by your websites, and the dynamic content product list and prices, which is continuously keep changing, or something like you keep changing, adding new products, deleting existing products, or kind of thing. but static contents like images, logos remain same, correct? So this kind of things can be segregated, and logos and images can be solved using the content delivery network, CDN. We'll understand CDN, what CDN means in the detail in future. Okay, so CDN is the another service which is good for your static content. Okay, so remember this point for the exam perspective. CDN is good for the static content like logo and images, and dynamic content would be hosted on your web servers, like HTML pages and product prices and product lists, etc., and needs to be like a mm, like it would be stored in the database, and then dynamically it needs to be fetched. If you use web servers only for dynamic content and static content over CDN, so this kind of benefit you can get when you are using the Amazon Web Services. Okay, so like there are various other services, but like I am just giving you an example, like just segregate static content from your websites and dynamic content kind of things. So store dynamic content into the RDBMS like solutions, and the static content into the in a Amazon S3 you store it, and using the CDN content delivery network you can get this data very easily using the CDN framework. It will reduce the huge load from web servers because you have segregated both the things. So it will reduce the load from the web servers. Web server is now responsible only for delivering the HTML content. Let's see the image. I have drawn this diagram for this. Okay, for this kind of things, what happens, like I have given you the bigger picture here, like what all the services can be used in such cases. Okay, so like say quicktechie.com, this user is accessing. Okay, and this is the internet from which he will be connected, and so as soon as he send a request, first this request comes to the elastic load balancer. What is ELB? It is ELB is a load balance. Like if you have multiple servers who are running your service, let's leave it right now. Okay, so it will first come to the ELB load balancer, and from load balancer to the service request comes to the Apache web servers. Okay, so where your service has been hosted. Okay, and now Apache web server says like I can give you the dynamic content very easily using the price, user information, product detail, etc. So it will fetch this detail from the MySQL DB. Okay, and this is MySQL DB is provided by the Amazon itself, so you will be using their services, and the data would be returned by the Amazon web servers, and as soon as this data is returned would go to the internet. And similarly all the images related to your website's logo, etc., would be stored in Amazon S3. This is the object storage. We store your files, all the files, and given to the CDN. CDN is very good technology to transfer data from the like various different like if you are accessing your website from the US, but it is hosted in the somewhere in India. So it is the CDN is the good to deliver the static images on the various locations globally. So it will give you advantage like how the all the static content can be sent easily over the internet. It would do some caching of the static files, so it will be delivered easily on the internet. Okay, and so these are the services like already provided by the Amazon web service, and you are using it and you are getting benefit of this services. If you have your own services and this is whole things needs to be created, it is very difficult task. So this is the best solutions, like whenever you host the websites, so there is the DNS service is also provided for DNS lookup kind of thing. So this is all services you can use it for your purpose, and you can deploy your service, and it's definitely cheaper than the solutions you have in your office, like this solutions. That would be definitely cheaper. Even you are using more services from the Amazon web services, and you are not responsible of like CDN. who are going to manage this? You are not going to manage this service. Amazon will manage for you. All the right click here you can see would be managed by service. This DNS would be managed by the Amazon Web Service. ELB, Elastic Load Balancer, is managed by the Amazon Web Service. You are not responsible. You just create an ELB and you use it. You create DNS, you create TCDN and use it. But if something goes wrong with ELB, who is responsible? Amazon is responsible for going if something goes wrong with the ELB. Similarly, but in this responsibility is yours, because you are hosting your website on the EC2 instances of this. So this responsibility comes under your in your plate, okay, as a developer, administrator, or owner of the website. So creating the EC2 instances and destroying the EC2 instances, using multiple EC2 instances, this kind of things would be comes into your picture. Suppose this EC2 instance goes down, so who is going to bring it up or something? You are responsible for this. Amazon will not bring automatically up for it, will not bring it up for you. But what happened here, ELB crashes or something goes wrong, don't worry about it. It's Amazon responsibility to bring the ELB again to back up for you. So this is the load balancer. Similarly, MySQL DB goes down, who is responsible to bring it up? It's Amazon responsibility to bringing it up. You are not responsible for bringing the database up or something, correct? So similarly, S3 services. So all the services where I marked as a right click would be here as a responsibility of the Amazon. And this is here I marked as a star. It is responsibility of yours to like manage this service. Okay, so now billing per hours billing. Suppose here also have you given this a watch sign or clock sign. Here like per hour this would be charged, like the ELB you are using it for 24/7 hours, that would be charged per hours basis. Similarly, this is the virtual servers. These are the as many servers you use it and as many hours you use it, this would be charged for you. Similarly, MySQL DB would be based on the how much you use it, how much time you use it. Other than timing, like how much data you store is also considered when you use the services. So in the MySQL, so how much data you store, you would be charged for this. Suppose you are using 100 GB as a storage, then you will be charged for the 100 GB. Similarly, S3 is also based on the like storage. Okay, so you would be charged based on the storage. And the third thing is like based on the amount of the traffic is going there, like high bandwidth website. Sometimes you are creating the file server like Google Drive like application. So what happens, you cannot store like 10 GB or 1 terabytes of data and publicly share this data to download it. So this would be huge cost for you, because it's Amazon will charge you the bandwidth you use for the data transfer for this. So using the CDN or using the DNS or whatever the data would be transferred using the ELB, it will be charged. So there is a various way Amazon charges based on how much time you use the resources, how much storage you use it, or how much bandwidth or data transfer you use it. So based on this, the Amazon will charge you. Okay, so remember this point for the exam perspective. Okay, so but we'll discuss more on the billing side in future session. Okay, so build by storage, build by amount of traffic, and build by how much. So you will be creating the virtual private cloud in the Amazon. Will be using the okay. So now let's move here, and I'm just stopping the session here, okay, because it is becoming more than 30 minutes. So and which is, I think it's not good to create the session more than 30 minutes. So I'm just stopping here, and we'll be dividing the session in two parts. Okay, so you can watch next session after sometimes as per your comfort. So if you're watching this session on YouTube, then don't forget to subscribe it, and if you wherever you're watching, please like it and subscribe it. Thanks for watching, and I'm stopping for this session.